The front page of the New York Times, above the fold, just barely, but above the fold, let me read you the headline. Fixated on campaign fight, Sanders risks lasting legacy. Fixated. You like that word? Fixated. That means somebody who is focused abnormally on something. In this case, according to the New York Times, it's a campaign fight. He's not fixated on the presidency or the nomination. No. According to the New York Times, Sanders is fixated on campaign fight. And because of that, Sanders risks lasting legacy. I'll be a son of a bitch. Really? Really? Well, they must have gotten some complaints because later on today on the online version, here's what they changed it to. Bernie Sanders makes a campaign mark. Now, can he make a legacy? Oh, boy, what a difference, New York Times. Son of a bitch. Fixated on campaign fight, comma. Sanders risks lasting legacy. If he keeps up this shit of trying to get the nomination, he risks blowing everything, according to the New York Times. Online, Bernie Sanders makes a campaign mark. Now, comma, can he make a legacy? Isn't that sweet? Isn't that sweet? Isn't that different from fixated on campaign fight? I hate these people. I'm getting to the point where I hate just about everybody. Well, not you. Not my family. But dear God. Listen to this. Congressional candidates who speak of, quote, liberating the American underclass, end quote, are flush with campaign donations. Liberating the American underclass, like that's going to happen. Oh, bullshit. The likely Democratic presidential nominee, let me think. Well, according to the New York Times, that's Mrs. Clinton, has not only moved to the left on a range of issues, but now routinely rails against the influence of big money. There are plenty of signs that Senator Sanders of Vermont has left a mark on the political moment. Next sentence. But some liberal Democrats are beginning to worry that as Mr. Sanders continues his quest for the nomination, his chance of building a lasting legacy may be slipping away. Far from laying the foundation to transform his campaign into a movement, Mr. Sanders is wrapped up in the race itself. Son of a bitch. Really? Who would guess that somebody who's in a heated political campaign would be wrapped up in the race? I mean, wow, that's really out there in left field, isn't it? Huh? Sharpening his attacks on Hillary Clinton and demanding she debate him before the June 7th primary in California. Sharpening his attacks on Hillary Clinton. You know, I have not heard any attacks on Hillary Clinton. What I have heard are attacks on the policies that she and her husband put into play 20 years ago that has really caused some damage in this country and around the planet, but in this country. Sharpening his attacks. Listen to the adjective. Here's another one. In an ugly series of events this month that, if nothing else, showed how difficult they may be to herd. He's talking about his supporters, Sanders supporters. Sanders supporters disrupted the Nevada Democratic Convention and later threatened the state party chairman in a fight over delegates. It was not a fight over delegates. God damn the New York Times. It was a fight over the way the woman who runs the Nevada Democratic Party denied the Sanders supporters a chance to state their case. That's what the fight was about. Sanders supporters disrupted, that's a good word, and later threatened, God damn, disrupted and threatened. Disrupted and threatened. Well, that Sanders, he's just a rabble-rouser. He's just a son of a bitch. He need to go back wherever he came from, up there in Vermont, somewhere up north, and shut up and sit down and let Mrs. Clinton claim her throne, which, if it's Clinton and Trump, let me tell you, get used to this phrase. Hello, President Trump. Get used to it. Get used to it. Oh, my God. And then, as surprising a person to me anyway as Howard Dean, former governor of Vermont, who ran his own insurgent campaign, if you remember, back in 2004. This is what Howard Dean said about Bernie Sanders, right here in the New York Times. He said, quote, "He has the greatest appeal of any progressive candidate we've seen probably since Teddy Roosevelt. But that has to be converted into an on-the-ground machine that delivers." Well, Governor Dean, he's trying to deliver. He's trying to deliver the presidency. But he adds more. Dean says, there have to be candidates who are supported. Sanders is not supported? There have to be issues that are put forward. What the hell does that mean? Come on, Howard. What happened to your brain? Too much time on MSNBC, huh? Too much time hanging out with Morning Joe and Mika, right? There have to be issues that are put forward. Yeah, Sanders hasn't put any issues forward at all, according to Dean. Then there's this. There have to be opportunities to put pressure on legislators. I'm not sure what that means. There have to be opportunities to put pressure on legislators. Barack Obama has been putting, well, no, I guess he hasn't. And then Dean says, that is not the same thing as a political campaign. Well, no shit, Sherlock. Of course it isn't. He hasn't been elected yet. He's in a political campaign. Started a brand new week here, Kathy, and I'm screaming already. This is bullshit. This is bullshit.
I was so pissed off by 9:30 this morning. I felt like you.
Oh, God. And there's this. This is from the Times, not from Howard Dean. Mr. Sanders himself does not have a reputation for leadership. Well, that sure surprises the hell out of me and the other millions upon millions of people who have contributed to his campaign and who have voted for him. And to show up for those rallies must be Potemkin rallies. Those must be, I don't know, those are scrims set up to make it look like crowds, I guess. In Congress, these two writers go on, in Congress, Sanders is seen as more of a lone wolf, known more for introducing symbolic legislation than for methodically building constituencies. Build a constituency in the United States Congress? Are you out of your goddamn mind, Jonathan Mahler and Yamiche Alcindor? A constituency for a real hardcore left liberal? Where? He's the only one in this filthy, putrid, vomitous Congress we have. Boy, these people piss me off.